can you monogram a bath mat with an embroidery machine? Apparently the answer is yes. Welcome to the Sewing Report. I'm Jen. This channel is all about sewing crafts and DIY projects, and I have been experimenting with my embroidery machine, the Brother PE800, and trying out different types of items just to see, can it embroider? And my latest experiment was with a bath mat, and I was able to do it. I was kind of surprised, and I'm going to walk you through how, and just some general tips if you are going to try to embroider something very thick like a bath mat. I did not want this project to cause any more headache than necessary, so I made sure to pick a bath mat that did not have a rubberized backing. This is from IKEA. It was about $6. It is reversible, and it's pretty much just like a really thick towel. So I pre-washed it. Because I was using cotton fabric, this will shrink, so I wanted to try to get it pre-shrunk, because when you are monogramming it, ideally, you do want to be able to wash this again. For thread, I chose the Madeira Rayon collection. This was sent to me by Nancy's Notions, and it worked out great, had a nice sheen, and I thought it would be a little more supple than the polyester thread. So because this is a very flexible item, I just decided to go with that. Needle choice, I went with the Oregon Ballpoint 80/12. I just picked up a bunch more from Amazon. And I would recommend switching out needles every time you start a new project. To find and mark center lines on the towel, I held up both ends, then used an air-soluble pen to mark the centers on all sides. Then I drew a line to connect them, and that's how I found the center point for the bath mat. I believe this monogram font is called Exquisite, so I'm going to link everything below. What I do with towels or anything where I don't really want stabilizer on the back just because it's going to be visible at some point is I will first hoop just a piece of wash away stabilizer. Then I used a flexible ruler to find the center marks and draw a cross there. And now I can line up the center of the towel with the center of the hoop. So to get the towel to stick to the hoop, I use temporary spray adhesive for fabric, and I cover the hoop with painter's tape so it doesn't get all gunky. Then I put the whole thing into a makeshift spray station, which in my case is a Trader Joe's bag with like a part cut out in the top. Spray my fabric adhesive, and then I used a pin, just a regular pin, drove it into the center of the bath mat and through the hoop, and now I've got my first sticking point for the mat onto the hoop. So then I used the center lines that I marked on the bath mat, and every once in a while I would put the pin into the bath mat and then line it up with my line on the stabilizer that's already in the hoop. So I was able to get the towel pretty much centered. Now from my last embroidery project, which was the backpack, that was pretty thick material to begin with, and I ended up really decreasing the tension down to 2.0. Now I only had one of these items, and I didn't do a test stitch, so because I've done this monogram before, I knew how it looked, but just going from the backpack experience, I decided to lower the tension also to 2.0, and I'm glad I did. It worked out just fine. So once I had my bath mat stuck to the stabilizer in the hoop with the spray adhesive, then I ended up using these clamps I normally put on my photography backdrop, and I rolled up the sides of the bath mat that kind of stick out and clamped them, and that will keep things, when you're stitching things out, it'll keep the mat from going all over the place. And I also put a layer of water-soluble topper just over the bath mat, and I used curved quilting safety pins to keep that in place. The reason I use the water-soluble topper is because any fabric that has like a pile on it, it will just help the stitching lay nicer, and it will also prevent your needle from getting like caught up in some of the fabric or the material you're using. So I did 3 layers. I did the water-soluble stabilizer on the bottom, my bath mat, then water-soluble topper. One cool thing is you can reposition the needle starting point to match up with the center of whatever item you're embroidering. Got my thread in there and it's stitched out perfectly. I like to stop after a few stitches and cut the excess thread. I'm now going to show you the entire stitch out at 3 times speed so you can know what to expect. If you want to skip ahead to see the finished bath mat, click on the timestamp in the description box. I was actually pretty surprised I was able to do material that thick. Didn't have any problems. Not even like a thread break. So I think just doing that preparation really helped, and it's a really cool item to personalize. You can give this as like a housewarming gift or use it in your own home. Looks super high-end, like something you get out of Pottery Barn, but really it's just a $6 bath mat from IKEA that I just customized. The final result turned out pretty fantastic. After I got it out of the embroidery machine, I undid the clamps, and then I went into the back and I just snipped all the threads, anything connecting, and I cut away most of the wash away stabilizer. Now I'm going to wash this bath mat, and then when I wash it, the stabilizer will be completely gone and the back will look fairly clean. Like obviously there's stitching on the back, but it won't look all crazy. I thought this project was a lot easier than I thought it was. Those are the steps I took to embroider a bath mat. If there's any other like weird items you want to see me try to embroider, let me know below in the comments. I also have a lot of other videos about using my embroidery machine, the Brother PE800. Love it, use it all the time, and I recently did a Q&A just answering some general questions, so check that out. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'm Jen with the Sewing Report. I'll see you guys again in the next video.